All right. So I'm going to pray us in and then we'll get started. So placing my hands on my heart, take in that deep breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this opportunity to be together, to be the two or more gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful for this time to be able to hold each other up and know the truth for each other, especially if there's moments when we feel like we can't see that truth for ourselves. We're grateful for this beautiful, compassionate, loving community. We're grateful for our willingness to see with God's eyes, through the eyes of love, instead of through the body's eyes, which sometimes can deceive us. We're grateful to know that everything is happening for our good. We claim it now, and we honor whatever feelings may arise and know that we are learning in each and every moment. We cannot see through all directions of time and space at the moment. So we're grateful that we can have that deep, unending, fierce trust and faith. We're grateful for Course in Miracles. We're grateful for the teachings of Jesus. We're grateful for our dedication and devotion to living a life of love. We're grateful for our mighty companions and ask that they join us now, surrounding and supporting each person here and all those who may listen later. Grateful for them to support the technology we get to use to come together each week. We're grateful to be open receptors, to receive all of the blessings that are ours to receive right here and right now. And we're grateful to share those blessings and the love that we are with everyone because we are one. In grace and divine gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So happy that you're all here. So I'm going to start us off. This week we're in the what are the characteristics of the teachers of God. We're doing we were reading 6 defenselessness, 7 generosity, and 8 patience. And I'm going to start us with patience because that's what I have had to practice the most for the last couple of weeks. So that's where I'm going to begin. Those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait and wait without anxiety. Patience is a natural to the teacher of God. All he sees is certain outcome at a time perhaps unknown to him as yet, but not in doubt. The time will be as right as is the answer. And this is true for everything that happens now or in the future. The past as well has held no mistakes, nothing that did not serve to benefit the world, as well as him to whom it seemed to happen. Perhaps it was not understood at the time. Even so, the teacher of God is willing to reconsider all his past decisions if they are causing pain to anyone. Patience is natural to those who trust, sure of the ultimate interpretation of all things in time. No outcome already seen or yet to come can cause them fear. So, I have to admit that at the beginning of last week, that I was not in patience or trust. I was in resistance to those things and was really feeling in my mind, but also in my physical being, the outcome of that resistance. because apparently at this time, my duty is to rest, like I have not rested. I think the only other time I can think that I have been as incapacitated was when I was in my early 20s and got scarlet fever, and I was stuck in bed for a week. So I'm normally not upright right now. I am normally laying down. Standing is uncomfortable. Sitting is really uncomfortable. But I'm medicated and I'm sitting on an ice pack. So I'm here because this is important to me. And when I was resisting the not doing the things that I would like to be doing, the pain was radiating into all areas of my body. It felt like years ago when I was in a lot of pain and the doctors said that I had fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis. And I was not willing to accept that diagnosis. So, yeah, so I started changing my mind. And so I have to say that things have become easier because I am surrendered to being on the couch. I'm not a couch potato. I'm usually up, puttering around the house and doing all kinds of things, but that's not what I'm being called to do right now. So I'm just surrendered to it and grateful to know that even though it is not my preference, it is what I am being called to do. And I am willing to do what I am being called to do with patience. It is not always perfect.
The first line of that reading was really an epiphany for me, and it was very helpful because this healing process that I've been going through for 6 years now, 6 straight years, has just really tested my patience. Some days I just feel like I'm going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And that line about the outcome was so helpful to me because I realized, I'm not really trusting in the outcome of this. My mind goes all over the place. Oh, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to, I'm not going to be okay, or it's going to get worse, or because this isn't the kind of healing that you can see progress each day. It's a very elusive kind of thing that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that for you, Deborah. And I'm constantly in awe of the courage and the strength that it has taken for you to endure what you have endured and rise above it. And yeah, I'm inspired by you. I'm so inspired by you.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, thank you, Deborah. Mary Lee and then Carla.
Oh, I was just going to ask a question because I missed last week and I wasn't sure what you were referring to, Linda, but I think as you talked, I understand you're going through a lot of pain in your back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a surgical procedure, mild surgical procedure, and yeah, I just thought I was going to bounce right back from it, So my personality was saying, certainly I can do this one simple task or this one menial chore. And as soon as I did, I was paying for it, with more pain and bleeding. So, yeah.
And I had a second question about what you were telling us. You said, was it 6 years ago or a few years ago, you went to the doctor and they said it was osteoarthritis and
Yes.
fibromyalgia.
Yes.
And can you tell me why at that time you resisted that diagnosis?
I think for me, because it didn't feel true to me. And I'm not saying that everybody that has been diagnosed with those things, that they're not getting a proper diagnosis. What I'm saying is, for me, it felt like this is not the end of the story, that there is something else going on, and that I will be shown what I need to do. And I was right. I was led to a homeopathic practitioner that helped me with some herbal remedies, and I was led to my movement teacher, and I was led to Jennifer, and all of those things and more have allowed me to move out of that pain body that I was in at that time.
That whole topic is of interest to me, because I, having been a bedside nurse for 45 years and hearing things about bodily diagnosis from different ones, and one thing I've always remembered is when we studied the heart, and they said, now the number one symptom of a heart attack, now this was when I was studying, it said, is denial. Then you know for sure you got something going on. So I was thinking about that that apparently proved true for enough cardiac persons, that if they deny it, well, then there it is.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense too.
Our bodies definitely can fail us in different ways, and finding ways to cope and to help can be a long journey, just as Deborah was saying.
Yeah. 6 years she's been dealing with this. And I know people, I mean, I know Carla's been dealing with the ataxia that she has had for over a decade, and has seen it in her family. And, there are different ways that we choose to learn on this journey. And I am grateful that I don't have to choose all of them. So, I'm choosing this one right now, and I can see how, my choices may have looked like denial, but it wasn't really. I mean, it could have been completely construed as denial. It just felt like my guidance was, this is not the answer. This is not the correct answer for you. So, that answer may not be the same for everybody. Hope that makes sense.
Well, and a diagnosis is not treatment. I
Right.
think so often we go to a doctor and go through a lot of tests and a lot of this and that, and then here is the diagnosis.
Right.
And then, oh, I'm supposed to leave now. What is the treatment? What am I going to do about this diagnosis now? Whether it's colitis or whatever, what is my treatment plan? I wish to be well. And that can often feel like feeling deceived or something, that we want the right path to to have our bodies functioning so that we're learning as much in this life as we can and giving to others and all that. And if we're, you know, we want to go forward. So it sounds like you were in that mode perhaps of wanting to go forward and not just get stuck in the diagnosis.
Right. And I mean, I can totally see, you know, taking medications for symptoms in order to move out of a place of severe pain. Or, I mean, I'm taking some pain medications right now that I don't normally, I mean, it's just Tylenol and ibuprofen, but it's still, there are things that I don't normally go to. And, you know, the course teaches that they're magic. Well, right now I appear to need that magic, so I'm going to use it. You know, I'm not judging anybody who takes their diagnosis as, I finally have an answer, because I've been there, you know, where you're just like, I just want to know what's happening. I just want to know what's going on, and feeling some relief from that diagnosis, and feeling some relief from whatever medication a doctor may prescribe for you. But like I said, for me, what I was getting from me was, this is not the end of the answer to what is happening. Yeah, thanks for the questions. All helpful. Carla.
Every time I try to keep it simple, but you guys give me so much information and stuff comes in my mind that I just want to share it. But so the one thing, everything I read about these all tie together. So I think it's in Defenselessness, it doesn't say here on this app, God's teachers have learned how to be simple. They have no dreams. They need defense against the truth. So look in my mind, is anything in this world real? If only love is real, then we're giving meaning to what can't. I mean, look, sure, treat yourself lovingly. I have back issues now too. The same freaking thing as like sitting and standing. Laying down is really the best thing for my back, but it's fine. But what I'm realizing is this, let's see, I'm kind of going off that I thought with this house experience and Adam and all that it was about forgiving him and forgiving and letting go, and it's about forgiving myself. And who is the self I'm forgiving? I'm forgiving the higher self for allowing me to choose this and letting this happen. And I'm forgetting the body self, the ego self, whatever you want to call, for having chosen that renter that gave me this whole experience. And then I'm choosing to judge the experiences. I keep going back to acceptance and joy and love, but yeah, I don't keep it simple enough to stay there. That's the simpleness. To see, to accept everything. If the person who thinks they can't is right, and the person that thinks they can is right, because we're given what we believe is true. God gives us everything. We have, not that we have the Maserati and the mansion and stuff for a relationship, whatever, but we believe it, and it becomes true. And it seems so challenging to have balance issues with that and not believe it's true. It's very challenging because I have to treat myself lovingly and not try to do things that cause me to fall down and hurt myself. Yet be considerate of what the body can do. But what I'm realizing is It's all about forgiveness. And what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is letting go of believing delusion, the mind, just believing in love, loving myself. How many times a day does thoughts come into my mind that I think are natural? Oh, it's obvious. He's late again, getting up. It's whatever. It's obvious. It's I can see it. But is what we see really what the mind tells us it is? That's lesson number 2, that we give meaning to everything. And I'm realizing, not in judgment, not in blame, not in hate or angst or impatience, but in defenselessness. This is what I've chosen, how I've chosen somehow to learn, to grow. And I tell you what, I am going to grow from it. I am growing from it. That is the truth that I'm focused on. So that's the simpleness. It's there's no danger, and maybe the body can be damaged because we're not a body, we're not just a body, because we're living this life in a body experience right now, but that's not all we are. I want one more bit. I'm willing to let go of believing all the meanings, the things that I have done that aren't loving, that I don't want to hold on to that stuff anymore. It's killing my body by allowing those energies to flow through it, and I'm not willing to do that anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Love you so much, sweetie. Yeah. Mark, and then Mitzi, and then Leslie.
Do you hear me? Yeah. Hello. I wasn't able to come yesterday, last week, but nice to be back. I found this section that you were reading, Linda, also very inspiring about patience. For me, it's a summary of, well, there are many sections that are a summary of the whole book. What is in one is in all. But I mean, really, that one really spoke to me because, well, I've had a period now where, well, I've been I've had to like deal in the world and didn't have so much time or energy or lack of willingness maybe to well, I had to put my spiritual life a little bit on a little bit lower level, and well, and that's I've had like moments where I really didn't really accept that. I felt like bad about myself, and I mean, I also was aware that I wasn't really that conscious as before, you know, but even that is something that you can accept and just like see it in the bigger picture, and so Well, the last week I've come a little bit more back with a little bit more willingness, and that's really nice. But I mean, a lot of things is when you, it's easy to say and hard to do, but when you get to the point of acceptance, it's such a burden that's falling off. It's all about acceptance, I guess, with many things. So and that's why the patience thing, because what was in there as well about everything, everything, all is good, all is well. Everything happens for a reason. We don't know what the reason is, but there's a higher plan, and you don't need to have any regrets. Don't look at the past from the regret point of view, and that's really helpful. So and then and that's what Carla said many times before. I guess when you get to the acceptance, that's the entry point to get back to more peace of mind. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I'm glad you're here this week. We missed you last week.
Yeah, it was just I didn't really have time. There was nothing. There's nothing big going on. It's just
No worries, my friend. Miss Mitzi.
Hi. I want to start off by saying that I hear the pain in Deborah and Carla, and I just want to let them know that, you know, I hear it and I feel it, you know, and it means a lot that we can all come together and share that and try and help to lift the burden of that feeling. So I wanted to say that, and I wanted to just say that it occurred to me that the way that this is even written, defenselessness, then came generosity, then came patience, and that really unfolded for me in a very practical way yesterday. I read it, and I've read this, and it affects me on different levels. But I actually had a practical thing happen, and this is how it rolled out. If you don't mind me taking a few minutes to say it, but a friend of mine is coming, and we plan to go shopping, and another friend suddenly her schedule opened up, and she really wanted to go with us. And of course, we're all friends, and this seems like it's such a ridiculous thing to even talk about. But I knew that my one friend was really hurting and going through some things and needed girlfriend time. But I already had a plan in my mind what my other friend and I were going to do. And then I had judgments coming up. Well, this other friend, she doesn't like this. I just had all these things that started, you know, blocking. And so in my mind, I started devising a plan. First, I was defending my plan that we would go shopping in an area where she would probably not want to go, you know, or couldn't do it. So, and I was defending it in my mind, but it didn't feel right. It did not feel right. And it was trying to make a good decision here, and a loving decision, but really just trying to make the right decision. I realized that I had all these defenses coming up in my mind. So that was a clue right there that it wasn't the best, you know, decision. And then I realized that being generous, I wasn't really giving anything up, because it felt like I was going to have to sacrifice to do it a different way. And I realized that from reading generosity that by keeping the end in mind, by knowing that it all turns out, by knowing that everything good is out there, that I could just, I could be generous, but not out of a puffy generosity, but just out of knowing that I'm not giving anything up. I'm giving away, for the sake of building a deeper relationship. And then came patience, that because I was like in my mind spinning about all this. And that reminded me that all good things are here for me. I can just be patient. I'm not losing out on anything. But what I was doing is I was doing my old pattern of blocking and being selfish and criticizing and all those things. And I felt such a relief. And it seems like such a stupid thing, but it is a pattern that I had recognized in myself of the ways I go about ruining my relationships and hurting other people. And for whatever reason, this is what these 3 pieces taught me and gave me this opportunity to not sabotage another relationship. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitzi. That's such a beautiful demonstration. You're right, perfectly, of all 3: defenselessness, generosity, and patience. You had the end in mind. You wanted to spend some loving time with your girlfriends, and you let go and were generous in the letting go, and you received from the generosity. So yeah, that was a beautiful, perfect story. Thank you.
I just want to add one thing, that the end in mind that came to me was the end of this existence here, that it all works out, that I have that, so it wasn't really, it was more like I realized that no matter what, it all works out. It's already worked out. And I felt it. It's that I really felt it.
Yeah.
I want to say that.
And working out also meant the release of that old pattern.
Yeah.
Practicing a new pattern.
Yeah. I don't know if I can grab and say that that's completely broken, but I certainly hope so.
Yeah, it's absolutely at least a start.
Upward and onward.
Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you. Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your share so far. Appreciate them all. I was going to read the section that you read, of course, Linda, so I'm not going to reread that. But it's so funny because patience was my word of the year. And I just said to Scott last night, I'm like, I think I'm going to have to do it again. I think patience is going to have to be my word of the year again. Although I do see some areas where I've improved, so that's the most important thing. And one thing, and I can't remember where, I know Jennifer always used to say this, and it used to really bug me because I never knew what she meant, was that infinite patience has immediate results. And I'm like, what does that mean? And finally, recently, I don't know if I heard it or I read it, it means that if you have infinite patience, then you have immediate peace, because you don't have to worry about the outcome anymore, because you can just be patient and know, like Missy just said, all is well. It's everything's temporary. It's all going to work out. So I'm really grateful. Thank you, Jennifer, that I understand what she means by that now. So that's been very helpful. And then I just briefly wanted to talk about healing. Because I know Deborah mentioned it, and Linda, I'm so glad that you're starting to feel better. That's good. And love ibuprofen myself. So glad you're taking that magic. I just recently, I don't know if anybody listens to Ken Wapniak. He has like these 5-minute little chats that I don't even know how I got them on YouTube, but there's just brilliant sometimes. And he just talked about how so many of us misunderstand healing from the Course in Miracles. He's like, it's never about the body. Healing is always the healing of the mind. And your healing of the mind is that you are choosing, you get to choose the Holy Spirit instead of the ego. It's, you always have the choice. And boy, can it be difficult, but you always do have that choice. Yeah, and I think the healing comes when we know that we have not separated from God like we think we did. So I like that definition of it, because I know it's been frustrating in the past when different things about healing. It's like, but the body, I mean, it just made more sense finally to me. That's the healing of the mind and not that the body is cured. So that was just helpful to me. And then I just have a little fun story of my egoic self. Quickly, I was at the retail shop buying stuff for the Malawi project thing, and I get this bag on Fridays that you get to fit whatever you can fit. It's just like a grocery bag. Whatever you can fit in the bag is 50% off. It's only on Fridays. Any young millennials here? Okay. Maybe Derwin, but I'm not sure how old he is. Anyway, young salesperson at the register, you know, so and it was like $5 for what, I mean, the bag was only like a quarter full. So I'm walking out the door. I mean, so I paid and I'm getting ready to leave, and I see this Christmas sweater, and I have a Christmas party to go to on the 7th. I have nothing to wear. Okay, that's not true, but I need something new to wear. Okay, not true. I want something new to wear. So I saw this Christmas sweater. So I'm like, oh, perfect. So it was $6. So I'm like, okay. So I get up to the register and she's like, okay, that'll be $6. And I said, oh, but it'll fit in my bag. It's half off, right? It's only $3. She's like, no, we only do the bag once per person, once a day on Friday. Exactly, Linda, the eye rolling. I mean, I went from peace to pissed like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I actually wasn't nasty to her, thank goodness, but I'm just like, but wait, I didn't even walk out the door yet. I was just here. Sorry, we only do it once a day. But I haven't even left the store yet. We only do it once a day. And I mean, there was like no compassion on her part at all that I could see. It was just like, that's it. And I didn't throw the sweater. I just said, fine, I don't want it then. She's like, oh, you don't want it now? I said, no. And I left. And then I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, if that's not a perfect example of the ego wanting to be right, more than wanting it to be happy. Because for all I know, playing the maybe game, maybe she would have got fired if she ignored the policy. I don't know. But I was having a great, blissful, happy, wonderful day, and bam, lost my peace like that. And then I've now told my mom, my sister, my friends at work, and you guys all of this story, you know, because I wanted to be right. And just, I wanted that confirmation of that eye roll, like, how dare she? She couldn't even give you a break. But the point is, it was $6. It was only $6 without the half off price. It was ridiculous. And so, and at first I'm like, I'm not going back there. You know, I was just all in a tizzy. And now I've totally forgiven her. I've totally forgiven myself. All is well. I can't see through time and space. Maybe I don't know why she wouldn't do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I chose not to buy the sweater, and that must have been for a reason too. So we'll see what I wear on the 7th, but the ego is something else. That's all I wanted to say. Isn't that ridiculous?
Oh my God. And just the fact that the sweater was $6 without the discount.
Exactly.
Makes it that much funnier.
What was funny was how mad I got. I mean,
Yeah.
because I just felt like I was so right. I mean, it's Friday, 50% off in the bag. And it's, I mean, sometimes I've left it with baby blankets stuffed in there, you know, like I can't get hardly one more thing. And I had plenty of room that day.
There was a very cheap lesson for us all, because if you all share those $6, then it's only 25 cents for all the people. And you saved it. It wasn't, you didn't pay for it. You saved the $6.
That's right. And you know what? Maybe somebody else really needed it more than I did.
Yeah.
You know, you could just go on and on with maybe. I love the maybe game.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Glad you could all laugh with me.
Oh my God, that was awesome. You tell the greatest stories, my friend.
Yeah.
Miss Grace.
Hi there. Yeah, I just wanted to say that your stories are the best. And Linda's we've all got some good stories, but they're what helped me understand more than anything what an idiot I am sometimes. And I love that you went from piece to piss. I've written that one down because that can happen on a dime to me. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? So I went from piece to piss. I might just write that and put it on the wall. But those little stories somehow bang it home to me. And I don't have a story today, but that reminds me of something I heard, that to be right, it's such a strong emotion in us to be right. And it goes back to our animal mind, where if we didn't judge the size of the dinosaur, you know, we had to be right. And we've still got it. And it reminds me of that. I read somewhere that, you know, we can be willing to shoot a hole in the bottom of our boat to prove that that will let in water and we'll sink. That's how stupid I can be sometimes. Yeah, but anyway, I haven't got a story, but I do like when you go to the supermarket and you spent $100 on a few things for dinner tonight. It comes to $99.99, and at the bottom it says you've saved $3. I just like, please. I sometimes read it out to the cashier. Oh, look, I'm glad I came here. I've saved $3. Oh, but I've also spent $100. Oh, you know, I mean, that's ridiculous. But keep the stories coming in, because somehow I can get the stories better than I can get other things. Thanks.
Yeah, me too. That's what makes it so memorable. That's how it's A Course in Miracles starring you. Because when we have these stories that we can share with each other, like I forgot about from piece to piss, and that makes me laugh so hard. So thank you for that reminder, Grace. Oh my gosh, amazing. Anybody else like to share anything? I know Nancy Gale may not be able to speak right now, but I also know that tomorrow is her last chemotherapy radiation treatment. And so I just want to let you know, Nancy, that I am celebrating with you. I wish we could all be there to hear you get to ring that bell, my sister. So grateful for you. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting you said ring the bell, because in the waiting room there they have, it's like a ship's bell.
Yes.
It's not very big, but it's brass and
Yes.
it has a white cord on it. And I always wondered, what the heck is that for?
Now you know.
Thanks for telling me. Now I know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you have somebody video record you ringing that bell on your phone,
All right.
people
Yeah,
would love to see that.
Oh.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. I'm feeling that because I know these treatments have not been super easy on you, but you have gotten through them. Your strength and your tenacity and your courage through all of this is a beautiful demonstration for all of us. So thank you.
Well, that's interesting also, because remember how many times over the years that I've said, I'm an event person. I'm not a process person. I do things perfectly the first time and that's it. And then I go on to something else. I'm not a process where, you know, day after day after day. I've
Yeah.
never been, it's like, what is this? How many months I've been at this? And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I guess patience, Leslie, was it patience? I always had trouble with that too, Leslie. And it's like, finally I figured it out. Yeah, like just like you did. And maybe that's what this was all about. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Thank you. I'll remember that.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Nancy Gill. Grace, did you want to say something else?
Yeah,
Okay,
I wanted
sorry.
to add on. So I was so happy that Leslie, you missed it. I was talking about your great shares and your great stories. And thank you for bringing up that infinite patience brings immediate results, because I hadn't thought of it as in me, you know, as that patience. But I think I told you a few times I've been working on my relationship with my youngest daughter. And I was putting into practice the patience. First of all, it stops you saying things that you can never take back, because once they're said, you know, which means also once you think them, they're out there as well. But I just did Jennifer's spiritual counseling class. And she said to me when I was talking to her that I was coming from lack. So just by saying, you know, I wish my daughter would call me more often and talk to me more often, that's coming from a place of lack. And I hadn't realized that. And she told me to get my vibration up, kid, and fast. So going into straight away, putting yourself in the position where that has come to pass, that I am chatting to my daughter and she contacts me and she doesn't just give me 2 minutes while she's driving somewhere. So I had to leap out of that vibration very quickly. But I didn't realize that that's what it was doing, of course, and that's what happens when you complain about something. So that was a great reminder to me about raising vibrations, and then being patient, just knowing, well, you know, it might not be working out that way for you. God may have actually another plan. He might have a plan for me that we get more distant because there's a reason for it that I can't see. Maybe she has to go through something as well as me. And the things still keep turning up that, you know, my ego will jump on. And so I think my ego's inviting all these different things. But when she lost her stepbrother a couple of weeks ago, she was like, no, I wish I had spent more time with him. And I'm like, hello, your old mother. You know, but I had to just shut up and be patient. And then she's been visiting her in-laws in Bogota for 3 weeks. She posted something on Facebook today, how wonderful it is to spend time with loving grandparents. And I'm like, okay, you need to, this is like piece to piece in a heartbeat. So I thought, okay, you need to watch your thoughts and, you know, just let ego know you know the game. We know this game. And no, we're not playing that one. But ego keeps bringing in thoughts that I have to decide, will I just let that sail past, or will I choose that thought and let it get me to pissed? So I just feel like I am being tested the whole time. But the good part was that last night she phoned me. True, she was driving somewhere, but it was a half an hour drive. And I got half an hour chit chat about how her, and part of raising my vibration, I just put on Messenger, have you got some time? I'd love to have a chit chat with you and catch up on your vacation. Left it, but got my vibration up first, you know, put myself in that place. Lo and behold, she phones me, she's in the car and she's like yapping away about her vacation. And we had such a good laugh. And she said, I don't want my husband to know, but I want you to buy this for the baby. And it was a giant giraffe. It came in a box 6 foot tall, and they still have the box. I would never buy anybody a present like that. It fills the house. She said, and don't tell Julianne. So I'm like, okay. So they get it, and Julian's like, oh no, it's a bit big, and you know, your mother went a bit wild there, and she didn't, you know, she threw me under the bus. She's like, yeah, she did, didn't she? And he wanted to he wanted to return it, but we're nearly at the date where you can't return it anymore. So I'm like, even though it cost me nearly $100, and she said that she was telling me this whole story about how the baby loved it, and a friend came to visit, and their little toddler, they sat him on the giraffe and the baby. So I thought, you know what, this is just a load of chit chat, really, but it's the kind of stuff that, you know, I was wanting to talk about with her. I mean, you know, $100 is $100, and it's not about the money, but it's about appreciation, and it's starting to come in. And one of the reasons is I have been appreciating myself more recently. Yes. So instead of putting my oldest clothes on in the morning, which I have today because I'm going to garden, I spend 10 minutes making my bed, getting dressed properly, doing my hair properly, and just telling myself, you're worth it, you're fabulous. Done.
You are fabulous.
We all are fabulous.
Yep,
all
exactly.
of us.
Thank you so much, Grace. Go ahead, Carla.
Unless someone else wants to talk, I thought there was going to be another sign. So we go back to generosity, and that's really, I really appreciate, Grace, what you shared, how you noticing the thoughts that are offered. That's we have thoughts that are offered to us. We can believe them, or we can say, oh, that's my thought. No, that's just a thought offered to us. So I'm really appreciating you sharing that. So this is about generosity. The term generosity has special meaning to the teacher of God. And said, to the world, this further down, to the world, generosity means giving away in the sense of giving up. To the teachers of God, it means giving away in order to keep. And well, I think it's giving away the meaning to everything that the mind gives us in order to keep the peace of God, which is within. And that's what I'm really discovering, I think, in the forgiveness, self-forgiveness, that I've been believing all that meaning way in the past, all my life, believing only now is real. But I'm believing all that meaning that I gave myself over the years, still holding on to it. Like, and what it is, it's like an anchor. It's an anchor, anchoring me to judgment, unpeace, no forgiveness, holding on to meaning. And so I'm willing to let go of it, give it up, to focus on peace, the peace within. So that's what I wanted to share. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Carla. Me too. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just what you're saying about the anchor. That's really like that's also very important. Like, we're so identified with who we think we are, and also identified, like, we are so used to being oriented within the world, and we get so much, we can get so much anxiety when we lose track of our anchors. But it's just this letting go that's part of the process. So I don't know if I have something to add to it, but I just wanted to, well, I found it was a very important what you said about the anchor.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because an anchor can be a weight that holds us down, that holds us back. But we can also think of like an anchor as keeping us grounded, of keeping us tethered lightly to our God self. You know,
Yeah, right. And then that's a positive use of it, and I guess also maybe a little bit connected to the magic of tablets. That's also an anchor, but sometimes we need anchors, so it's not that we should throw out all the anchors.
right.
We can make use of our anchors, but in the end, it's good to know that in the end we might need to give them up, but maybe not all at once.
Yeah, because you can't
Yeah.
fly with an anchor.
Yeah, and we need to slowly like shift our anchor into put more and more weight, more and more anchor into the Holy Spirit, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I share a willingness statement, just come ahead, that I'm willing to flow with love, flow with life. That's all. That's it. That's the anchor I want.
Yeah. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Mark. So next week, we will be finishing up the characteristics of the teachers of God. The last two, which are faithfulness and open-mindedness, numbers 10 and 11, or 9 and 10. If I could count. And then we'll get to move on. How is healing accomplished? And yeah, so that'll be interesting. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to read from my Pathways of Light insights for today's lesson for me, which is number 326. I am forever an effect of God. As I go through my day, let me remember that I am forever an effect of God. This thought reminds me that I am still as God created me. Nothing has changed. Illusions of individuality cannot change the truth of what we all are. I open my mind to the Holy Spirit today and ask that the light of truth shine away all the false ideas I have been holding on to. I am willing to follow God's plan of awakening. I am willing to let my mind be healed today. Let me apply this remembering to every circumstance I encounter in the dream today. I choose to let today be a day of mind healing. I choose to remember that I am forever an effect of God. I choose to be happy instead of right. It's like they were listening to Leslie's story. The world is transformed when forgiveness is complete, when all illusions have been let go. This transformed world is seen for an instant and then disappears as we awaken in the heaven that is our home. Once again, we see that forgiveness is the key to release from insane dreams of separation, suffering, pain, loss, and death. The Holy Spirit eagerly awaits our gifts of fear and guilt, judgment and grievances. To him, they are gifts because when we turn them over to him, he can exchange them with the gifts of Christ's vision of peace and happiness and love. This is his purpose. Our gifts of judgment, guilt, and fear, he recognizes as illusions, and thus to him, their only purpose is that they are an opportunity for the Holy Spirit to give us his blessing in return. He is a friend indeed. He takes our gifts of pain and transforms them with his love to gifts of blessing. Today, I dedicate to practicing giving all of my thoughts to him so that I may receive his blessings, which shine on me and show me myself. His blessings reveal the truth in me and all my brothers, and so I will gladly give my gifts of illusions and receive the truth. Thus I will remember I am forever an effect of God.
Hey, Linda, this is Nancy. Can I say one thing? I just was listening. It's like, you know how you buy something and you take it home, and then you don't like it, you decide you don't want it or whatever doesn't fit. You can take it
Yes.
back. You can
Yes.
return.
Absolutely.
That applies. That's the picture I got. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't like this thought. You're giving it back, taking it back.
Yeah. And when we take it back, we get our money back.
Right.
We get our love back, right? We get our peace
Yeah.
of mind back.
Return to sender.
Exactly. Thank you, Nancy Gale.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good week, everybody. Much love to you all. Happy Thanksgiving to those who are celebrating. See you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving. Love you all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Bye for now.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Thanks.